Welcome to another Railfan Dan production. Enjoy this intro. We are on the Palouse River and Coulee City Railroad in the Palouse region of eastern Washington. The Palouse River and Coulee City, or PCC Railroad, is a Watco company that operates a few branch lines in the Palouse region. Here, we are westbound just west of Colfax, where WAMX 5012 has just finished climbing the 3% hill up and out of Colfax. This is the Colfax turn train, and the crew just began their day in Colfax. They will be picking up cars a few miles ahead in Mockonema to bring to the west end of their line at Hooper. Rolling hills like this are what the Palouse region is known for. The Palouse is a distinct geographic region in the northwest, including parts of southeastern Washington and north-central Idaho. It is a major agricultural area, primarily producing wheat. Spring is just beginning to show itself, which is apparent throughout the video and here as well. Another fun fact is the engineer of this locomotive is a friend of mine that oddly enough I didn't know was working at this railroad until partway through this chase. This really made for a special bonus. Subscribe and hit the bell if you're enjoying so far. A nice overview look here of the rolling hills as well as Steptoe Butte in the distance. At Mockonema, the 5012 is picking up empty tank cars and a covered hopper. I presume the hopper car is used as a buffer, which the crew is shuffling to the front behind the locomotive. These tank cars haul a type of ammonia here at the McGregor company, which is used as a fertilizer. Watco states that the PCC primarily hauls wheat, lentils, and barley. With the transportation of this ammonia for fertilizer, then they do 100% service the agricultural needs of the Palouse region. I don't normally film switching operations, but since the engineer is a good friend, I took the time to watch them here. I joined a couple of other rail fans this day filming the PCC. One whose name escapes me, and the other was Harley, who was instrumental in helping me catch the PCC this day. A big thanks and hats off to him. I had just driven 7 hours overnight from my home in Oregon in hopes of making it near Colfax for the beginning of their run. I arrived at that first location about 2 minutes before the locomotive made its appearance. That's some of the most killer timing I have ever achieved. This train only runs about twice a week to my knowledge, and I believe is the only train that runs the whole line from Colfax to Hooper. I count myself beyond lucky to just happen to be able to make a trip here and catch them running on a Friday by chance. All aired up and ready to go, they begin their journey westbound toward Hooper. Getting some good speed just beyond Mockonema. This was the only ground shot I got of the train due to the very quick run and gun nature of the chase. They will follow the Rebel Flat Creek to Winona, where it flows into the Palouse River. Diamond, Washington, just in the distance here. Even though it's technically spring, none of the trees have started to bud yet, but still some of the fields were extremely green, like what you see in the distance. This line and many others in eastern Washington were built by the Oregon Railroad and Navigation Company. Ownership was transferred to the Union Pacific long ago and as of 1996 is owned and operated by Watco. WAMX 5012 is a GP50 unit and was built for the Chicago Northwestern in 1980. Flying higher for a better look at the surrounding hills, you can also see the shade of the clouds moving. train is about to pass through Thera here, which is home to another set of the many grain elevators along the line. The primary operation of the PCC is to use their covered hoppers to shuttle wheat from grain elevators along the line to their main grain hub in Endicott, which we will see soon. At a spot east of Endicott, now at Endicott and the big Northwest Grain Growers facility, you can see some of the PCC's hopper cars in the siding here. As I said, they will use shuttle trains to bring grain here from other elevators. These days, the Union Pacific brings the PCC a full unit grain train as needed to Hooper where the two railroads connect. The PCC then brings the unit train here to Endicott where it loads up at these elevators. Once loaded, they bring it back to Hooper to hand off to the UP, and the UP takes it to the Portland area for export. Winona is a junction point where the lines of the PCC come together. To the north is the branch line that runs to Thornton with many more grain elevators along the way that the shuttle trains bring grain to Endicott from. We see our train here, which just came from the East Branch to Endicott, and they also just picked up more tank cars to bring to Hooper. Continuing west on this side of the Y takes the line to Hooper and one of the few sections where the line follows the Palouse River itself. This section along the river is my favorite on the line, and wow, is it very green right now. Super glad for that. I was real happy to catch a train at all on the PCC once again, but really looking forward to this location. I think I spy my engineer buddy watching the drone here. There's a lot of little hidden away wildlife happenings through this section as well. The line climbs up and away from the river around the corner, but we will see it again later. Now we are east of LaCrosse, Washington. When I was here 6 years ago, the trains ran at 10 miles per hour through this and much of the rest of the line between here and Hooper, so it is really nice that they have increased the track speed. Much better dynamic for drone chase videos. Crossing Union Flat Creek, which flows into the Palouse River just a few miles from here. The two other rail fans I was hanging out and leapfrogging with on the gravel road here. LaCrosse used to be another junction for railroads past. Another line used to run to the southwest from here down to Riparia on the Snake River. The remnant of that can be seen to the right where the covered hoppers are in town. The remnant of a Y track between the lines here as well. A couple miles outside LaCrosse now back up to track speed. East of Gordon now, the line follows Willow Creek until it flows into the Palouse River in just a few miles. It might not look like much out here, but I really do have a fondness for this region, and again am so glad I caught a train running out here since 6 years ago. It's smaller railroads like this we really can't take for granted anymore, as we never know how long they might be around. My rail fan buddy Harley hiked a little to get a shot in the right corner. West of Gordon now, back along the Palouse River. This section paralleling the river is another favorite of mine. Again, not much for leaves on the trees yet, but the grass is already near the peak of how green it gets. Now coming into Hooper, the very west point of the railroad. Here we can see the Union Pacific Air subdivision coming into view, and less than a mile ahead is where the two lines meet. This spot is Hooper Junction, and the PCC has their own little yard here to shuffle cars around. The other end of the Y track passing under the UP main track is another remnant rail line long gone that used to run to Connell, Washington. Now in the distance you can see where the two railroads connect at UP's Hooper siding. This was the end of their work for the day, so my engineer buddy would take the unit light power back in town to Hooper and tie it down. Let's switch gears for just a couple minutes and watch a train run by on the Union Pacific Main. This train showed up a little while after the PCC crew ended their work for the day, a Canadian Pacific grain train heading southbound. If you've enjoyed this video, then consider helping the channel out with a super thanks donation via the thanks button on the bottom of the video. It tremendously helps to continue bringing you quality content like this, but please also do not feel obligated to do so. Your viewership is all the support I could hope for. Engineer friend is Jason, and it was great to see and hang out with him in person after the chase. I wish I had taken a photo of him and I together to add, but I guess I didn't think on my feet quick enough. Thanks for watching, and check out more videos on my channel of cinematic trains.